Silence is golden, unless you have kids. And that's some of the truest words ever spoken. It's natural to feel a little broody after spotting a cute baby, but coming up are some hilarious reasons why you should consider holding on to the birth control just a little longer. Bath time can be a real struggle for most parents, and just when you think you've got it all mastered, the rules can go out the window. Just check out these siblings who clearly decided that bath time should be a shared experience, even when there's only room for one. Let's just hope he didn't use the toilet first before hopping into the bowl. Kids may not want to eat their veggies most of the time, but it's astounding what they can consume when no one's around. While fixing a broken fence in the backyard, Aaron Weissel from Nottingham, England, was warned by his son that his 3-year-old daughter Olivia was on a snacking spree in the kitchen. After rushing back inside, Weissel discovered this. Little Olivia had raided the fridge and inhaled 18 yogurts in a row. Who knows how many more she'd have managed if she wasn't caught red-handed. Surprisingly, Olivia didn't suffer any gastric repercussions after the binge and even managed to finish her tea afterwards. What a machine. Having a baby means sacrificing your own sleep until they're old enough to understand the value of a good night's skip. Once they do stop waking up in the night though, most kids still rise at the crack of dawn with bundles of energy. One mother got a rude awakening when her toddler burst into her room in the morning with an unexpected guest by his side. Seems like one of the perks of growing up on a ranch is being able to take your favorite horse on a morning stroll to mom's room. I hope he didn't get that horse up the stairs, cause it sure ain't going back down so easy. Most kids have one thing in common. They love mess. No matter how foolproof you think your house is, the little devils will always find a way to cause some much-needed mayhem. Check out these little girls who raided mommy's toilet paper stockpile and turned the bathroom into a modern art installation. I'll bet the dolls got the blame for it too. The bathroom would be the least of your worries if the rest of the house looked like this though. They say butter wouldn't melt, but I'm not so sure that's the case when it comes to this little girl who broke into the fridge and managed to lather herself in the stuff head to toe. That face says it all. Things just got out of hand, Mom. I bet getting this slippery Todd into the bath afterwards was a real struggle. Kids and pets have an unbreakable bond and a mutual taste for mischief. And this little girl definitely had a secret agenda when she innocently asked her parents for a cup of milk. After throwing the drink on the floor and calling in the cats, she decided to get down with them and help lap the stuff up. Maybe this was her initiation for joining the kitty clan. I'm sure she passed with flying colors. If that little girl just earned her stripes at Kitten Club, then this rascal is about to have her membership revoked. When her mom turned her back for 5 minutes, this mischievous 9-month-old took the opportunity to catch the family cat and hold him hostage. The look on his face tells me he isn't going to forgive this betrayal for as long as he lives. Dogs, on the other hand, seem to be much more forgiving. With siblings come even more opportunities for mayhem, and double the trouble means parents should be extra vigilant when monitoring what they get up to. The parents of these two terrors probably wish they had eyes in the back of their heads after walking in on this scene of total despair, though. Redecorating can be a busy time, but come on. Open paint cans plus 2 bored toddlers is a total recipe for disaster. Let's just hope the paint hadn't dried up yet. There's one thing you can always count on when it comes to messy kids. They'll get caught one way or another. Take one look at this little boy who got busted after getting a little too enthusiastic with a bag of flour and leaving a trail of white footprints behind him. That face is definitely saying, "Let me explain," but I think it's a little too late for that now, buddy. Flour seems to be a popular choice for little ones who are looking to make maximum mess. Who knows how long it took this terror Todd to turn the living room into a scene only Pablo Escobar would be proud of. But I'll bet it took more than just a quick run around with the vacuum to clean it all up again. No matter how stealthy they think they're being, the chances are kids will still slip up somewhere, and in the case of this little dude, I mean that literally. Tiptoeing down to the freezer for an extra helping of dessert didn't exactly go to plan when the ice cream turned out to be more slightly out of reach than expected. After rushing downstairs to confront an intruder in the kitchen, I'll bet this hysterical sight was quite a relief for his parents. Curiosity is the cause for most of the sticky situations youngsters end up in. Still, it's almost impossible to imagine the thought process behind this child's decision to climb into the fish tank and use the filter as a straw. Kid logic doesn't play by its own rules after all. I hate to think what might have happened to the fish though. Maybe they were the appetizers? There are certain things that should be kept out of the prying hands of mischievous youngsters, and paint is definitely one of them. Juliet and Steve Lott from London learned that the hard way when they left their 3-year-old daughter Eve playing quietly, only to find a delighted life-size Smurfette in her place a couple of hours later. The proud toddler had turned herself totally blue, and it took 2 hours of scrubbing and bathing to reverse the transformation. Rather than getting mad, Eve's parents decided to save the photos for her 18th birthday. Sometimes the long game is worth playing. Parents often say they feel like they need an extra pair of hands, and it's easy to imagine why when photos like this exist. Just when it seems like the baby has finally gone off to sleep, Terror Todd number 2 starts scaling the blinds. It might be worth checking whether this kid was bitten by a radioactive spider before he starts shooting webs and busting petty criminals by night. Check out this little boy who's reaching for the top shelf of the fridge the only way he knows how. Is there anything kids can't climb? Tiny footprints are never a good sign when kids are concerned, especially when they're bright blue like these ones. After following a suspicious trail through the hall, the parents of one mayhem-prone toddler were less than impressed to find their son in the living room surrounded by a puddle of craft paint. It seems like mess making is exhausting work because this little fella managed to fall asleep purple-handed at the scene of the crime. No amount of scrubbing is going to save that carpet. Kids love getting their own way, and if they don't get it at first, they'll always find another solution. Just take a look at this Ballsy Todd who took matters into his own hands down at the bowling alley. No strike? No problem. I'll just wander down there and knock those pins over myself. Maintaining a tiny household seems like a pipe dream once kids enter the equation. No matter how many risky items you keep out of reach, there will always be something they can get their grubby little mitts on. Take a look at this brother and sister duo who decided that the furniture in their living room would be more comfortable if they turned it inside out. With no dog in sight to blame the mess on, they've got no choice but to sulk. And what a good job they're doing of it too. While most kids struggle to hide their guilt after committing a messy crime, others can't help but look proud of their creative achievements. Just take this boy for example. He clearly fancies himself as the next Picasso. The bathroom might have been due for a redecoration, but I'm pretty sure this isn't quite what his parents had in mind. No matter how many coloring books, chalkboards, or whiteboards you give kids to color on, it seems there's nothing quite as satisfying as drawing on the walls or floors. Just ask this amazing, mischievous little girl who managed to get a hold of a Sharpie and give the house a speedy redecoration while her dad was grabbing a moment of precious silence in the little boy's room. Little kids have got to be the stealthiest artists around. It might seem like the most sensible thing to do to prevent your kids from wrecking the house is to send them outside instead, but that might not be such a good idea when they end up in situations like this one. Mud baths might be way more fun, but the only place this boy is headed is the actual tub for a good old scrub. Tori Hamlin from Georgia rushed to her son's room one night after hearing some suspicious activity, but nothing could prepare her for what she found. 4-year-old Everett was sound asleep cradling his pet goldfish Nemo in his hand. After waking Everett up, Hamlin had the difficult task of explaining that his beloved pet had gone to goldfish heaven because they can't breathe outside of water. The poor lad explained that he just wanted to pet him, so he made a late-night trip to the tank to fish him out, which is pretty impressive if you ask me. Thankfully, Everett's parents took him to the pet store the next day to pick a new goldfish as long as he understood one thing: fish don't like hugs. Kids have their own special ways of showing their appreciation, whether that's pasta jewelry, badly drawn portraits, or carving love notes into the side of your car. Wait, what? This little girl probably gave her dad a heart attack when she called him outside to see what a lovely message she'd written for him. Something about that grin on her face tells me she knew exactly what she was doing when she grabbed that screwdriver. Speaking of kids and cars, there's a reason why you shouldn't ask your little rascals to clean your beloved vehicle. Just ask these two. After all, what fun is a parked car when it could be so easily turned into a slip and slide instead? Let's just hope those are muddy handprints and not something else, or these brothers might be grounded until they turn 18. It isn't just toddlers and babies who can't be trusted behind closed doors. As they get older, kids are entrusted with new responsibilities. But maybe this girl wasn't quite ready to be in charge of making dinner. Bolognese might be off the menu, but at least the cat is happy with this unexpected outcome. Hey, you know what they say. There's no point in crying over spilled pasta? It's usually up to the oldest sibling to lead by example, but what happens when the example being set is something as dumb as this? She looks totally proud to have taught her younger sister about the ancient art of toilet drinking, But the most worrying thing is that she might have relieved herself moments before her little sister stuck her head in the bowl. Kids love to get creative, and they'll use just about anything they can get their hands on to bring their vision to life. I'm not sure the mother of this young boy was too impressed when she found him creating an indoor art installation using the stickers he found in her dresser. Of all the things your child might choose to cover themselves in, shoe polish is probably not the easiest to wash off. Thankfully, it seems like this boy was caught in the act before he could finish painting the top half of his face. Hey, at least no one can say he isn't the brightest kid around now. Chocolate syrup isn't something you want to fall into the wrong hands. And by the wrong hands, I mean a toddler who's likely to guzzle as much as they can before smearing it all over your brand new white couch. Like this little angel. There's no explaining your way out of this one. It's literally written all over your face. The dog's face is a picture too. He's definitely thinking, "You in danger, girl." It's no secret that even the smallest babies are total poop machines. It's hard to imagine the horror the parents of this little devil experienced when they removed his baby grow to find what can only be described as an enormous smear of mustard lurking beneath. If smell-o-vision existed, I'm sure this image would be a knockout. And just look at his face. He knows exactly what he did. Do you have any nightmare parenting stories of your own? Let me know in the comments below. And thanks for watching.